All right, so more stuff on subjects and verbs today and for the next few days. Specifically today, we're going to start out with talking about helping verbs. That's what that big, remember, that big word auxiliary, that's all it means, okay? All right, if you have a helping verb, if you have a verb phrase, then your first helping verb is what you're going to have to look at to make sure that it agrees with your subject. The only ones that it tells you that change form for singular and plural are these, okay? And your forms of be, as you know, are am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been, and then we have, has, had, and then do, does, did. All right. And then it says, remember, have and do only change form in present. Okay, do and does. I mean, this is going to be these two are going to be the same, singular, plural. It doesn't matter. Okay. Now, was and were, right, are different, and those are in past tense for be. So those also change. They give you some examples. These are all in present on the top of page 211. For be, he is sleeping under a tent. They are sleeping under a tent. For do, he does sleep under a tent. They do. And have, he has slept or they have slept. Okay. Now, here's something else to remember. Only the first auxiliary or helping verb will change. If you have more than one helping verb in a verb phrase, only the first one is going to change. The others will stay the same. Okay, and it tells you that, talks about that specifically and shows you here right above the ESL on page 211. He has been sleeping under a tent. He is singular, has is singular. The been would stay the same whether it's singular or plural, as you see in the next one. They, which is plural, have is plural. But then the been stays the same, been sleeping. Okay? Now, be has some special rules. Look at this with me and we'll talk about them. Whether it is functioning as a main verb or as a helping verb, auxiliary, the verb be is different from all other verbs in its form. Other verbs, including do and have, change form for singular or plural only in present tense. We just mentioned that with a third person subject. However, and I have this marked in my book, the verb be changes in form with first, second, and third person singular subjects. It also changes for singular and plural in past as well as present. Just talked about that, was, were. Okay, as well as am, is, and are. So, to make be agree in number with its subject, you have to be aware of all its forms. Now, most of you guys are going to do this naturally. It's just going to come, it's going to be innate, if you will. You're just going to know what words to use, okay? But, you know, it can give people problems if they're not familiar with the language and even with grammar to a certain extent. Okay, and it gives you examples here. For first person, I am singular, we are plural. Present, but then past, I was, we were. Second person, notice that second person is you. Singular, plural doesn't matter, it's still you. You are, you were. And then third person, he is or they are, he was or they were. Okay? And they give you some more examples there. Turn the page, please. It says at the top of the next page, all singular nouns and third person singular pronouns, it, he, and she, take is for present, was for past. The pony is a family pet. Sharon is an experienced rider. The horse was strong and powerful. Her brother was a horse trainer. All right, look at 9.3. I think this is going to be quite easy for probably all of us, I hope, anyway. This chapter as a whole is not bad. It really isn't. 9.3, underline the simple subject in each sentence, just like we did yesterday. Then underline the correct verb from the choices in parentheses. In the blank, you're going to tell me the word that you underline in parentheses. Is it V for your main verb, meaning that's it, it's your verb, or AUX for helping verb, auxiliary? Okay, we'll do a couple of these together to make sure that you understand what you're supposed to do here. Since ancient times, man blank created visual art. So what's your subject? Which choice is your verb? And is that word that you underline as your verb, is it a helping verb, AUX, or are you putting V because it's your main verb? Isaac.
Man is your subject.
Mm-hmm.
Has is the one you underline.
Uh-huh.
Is auxiliary.
Good. It's your helping verb for created. Great. And thank you for taking your mask off. Guys, you know me. I try to be as careful as I can around you, and I want you to be as careful as you can around each other. But I'm learning the more we wear these and the more I call on people in class, unless your voice projects better than the average student, and you're in the back especially, it's going to be mum, 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 mum. I'm going to hear the sound well enough, but I'm not going to know what you're saying. And that partially may be my hearing. I don't know. I think I have a hearing loss, not a lot. Okay, but I just can't. I just can't make it out. Number 2, the images here, blank examples of early art. Micah.
Images is your subject.
Mm-hmm.
R is your verb.
Good.
And it's your main verb.
It is your main verb. It's the only verb. Good. The only verb word there. So V on the blank. You guys are going to do the exact same 3 things. Subject, verb that you choose, and then is that verb helping or main verb for the rest of those. Look over at 9.4. In the blank, write the correct form of be, have, or do. Okay? I'll get that in a minute. I wrote these for you, okay, and I'm going to go ahead and write these. For be, it's going to be one of those 5. Am, is, are, was, or were. These are the only 5 you're going to use on this section. You don't have to worry about be, being, or been. Okay? So it's going to be one of these 3, one of these 3, or one of those 5. Now, will you use all 11 of those on here? No. Okay? But those are your choices. All right, let's do a couple of these together. Painting blank, one of the oldest arts. Caitlin. Is. Good. All right. And then number 2, they put well, it's asking a question, so, and the others, yeah. Okay, y'all know what to put here. Blank people enjoy paintings. Kaylee, did you? I thought you, yes, do. Okay, and then let's do number 3. Emma, this one's yours if you want it. Many artists blank expressed various emotions in their art. Have, H-A-V-E. Is on number 1, do on number 2, and have on number 3. Finish 4 through 10, and then finish 3 through 10 on 9-3, which you do whichever one you want to first. Just make sure they're done and ask questions as you need to. Okay. I'm going to try to go ahead and load this thing, start it, because it takes forever.